Chardonnay is one of the world's most popular grapes. A noble grape, its parents are Pinot Noir and Gouais Blanc. We first see mention of it in the 16th century in Burgundy. You can find it grown all over the globe, from its home in Burgundy to Australia's Hunter Valley. You find it in Italy, South Africa, California, Washington. Yes, Washington. We'll get back to that in a moment. These different regions bring in some of the differences in the wines. Flavors and aromas come from the variety, the location where it's grown, and then the winemaking. Chardonnay is incredibly adaptable. Chardonnay can have a variety of aromas and flavors. Warm climates give you tropical notes, cool climates, more citrus and pear. Then you can ferment it in stainless or in wood. You can allow the wine to go through malolactic fermentation or not. You can age it on the lees. You can filter or not filter. So many options that will affect the taste of the wine. We had a chance to look into the nuances of Chardonnay with 2 vineyards in the Yakima Valley. These vineyards sit in 2 different AVAs within the larger Yakima Valley AVA. De Breuil Vineyard in the Rattlesnake Hills AVA and Rosskamp Vineyard in the Snipes Mountain AVA. Last year we visited with 2 winemakers we had met there before, Codin of Codin Cellars and Carrie Shields of Cote Bonneville. The 2 both make Chardonnay, and the vineyards they make them from look across the Yakima Valley at each other.
If you think about it, and to me, the greatest wines of the world are from special places. So what I've decided to do is find the special places and then try to express them. And so, for instance, this to me is a very special place. It's very unique. There's nothing like it anywhere else. And the wines from this special place are unique and to that, as are the wines from that special place. There's nothing else for miles around that place. And the wines are very easy to explain and understand and comprehend, and then you can work on tasting them and enjoying that aspect, and then noticing the difference from vintage to vintage. There are 3 blocks of Chardonnay in this vineyard, but that's the most protected. And that's Dijon clone 76 and 96 in a field blend. So what you'll notice is in Washington State we have sandy soils. The vines are own rooted.
Right.
So,
right. Because you don't have the worry of phylloxera up here.
Correct. And because they're own rooted, they're very easy to propagate. So what happened here is we got 1 clone of Chardonnay and everyone propagated the same clone. It's a very good clone, but about 20 years ago, we started seeing new clonal material coming into the state.
Right.
And that back corner is planted in the Dijon clones. So the Chardonnay from my winery tastes, even though it's made in a similar style to Cote Bonneville's, it'll have a different. Theirs is on a south-facing slope with the older clone. Mine's on a north-facing slope with the Dijon clones. So those are the kind of things that make the different vineyards unique, and that's part of what I was talking about, expressing the site with the traditional style of wine.
Right. And I think it's really interesting how different that Chard tastes from this Chard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're different clones, but also the soil is different. The Snipes is its own, geologically it's distinct, totally distinct from this.
Right.
And so it's just kind of fun to see that sense of place.
If you're small, you can't afford to take that risk. I mean, I get 12 barrels of Chardonnay in a big year. Every single one has to finish, and every single one has to be good.
Right.
Because we're not big enough to blend anything away. So everything has to be perfect. When you have to be consistent, consistency is hugely important for a winery like ours. I mean, we have people all over the country who buy the wine every year, and people come into the tasting room all the time and say, I like every single wine that you make. I mean, even people who don't, I have a friend who doesn't love Chardonnay.
Right.
She says, your Chardonnay is good. I recognize the quality. It's not my favorite grape, which is fine. But it's good enough that she says, if I'm going to drink Chardonnay, I'll drink yours. But if you like Burgundian style, classically age-worthy,
complex,
balanced Chardonnay, then you're going to like our Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Barrel ferment, and then we do full malolactic, so that it's stable. We actually keep it on the lees it spends about 1.5 years in barrels.
So how did our side-by-side tasting go? It was pretty interesting. These were 2 wines made by winemakers with similar styles, both wanting to showcase their site. The Codin Rosskamp Chardonnay was plush and creamy with baking spice, whereas the Cote Bonneville was leaner and more elegant, with not quite ripe pear notes and a lovely mineral note. How much of this was the soil, the different aspect, perhaps the picking date? I don't know. I just find it wonderful and amazing that two wines made from the grapes and vineyards that look out to each other can be so subtly different.